This is Ryan Bowles' discussion. First task we did was who can run the country. Skills needed was communication, assertiveness, confidence, respect and courage. For this task there was 4 videos. We had to discuss what was the best decision for each one. You need to communicate to your team members and discuss different ideas that were ideal for each video and what was the safest route. Another skill I needed is confidence. I need confidence to help with different ideas and speak loud and clear to get different points across. I needed respect within this task because we had to respect each other's ideas and decisions. Another skill I need within this task is courage. You need courage in this task because you need to be confident and give good ideas to your teammates. Also trying different things within your group, for example, different decisions to see what the best one was. I also needed assertiveness in this task because you need to be honest and express your opinions or feelings, what you think may work or not. The skills I used in Who Can Run the Country was communication. This is needed because I had to communicate with my team and discuss ideas on which option was the best and if it would work. We communicated effectively because we made the right decisions. Another skill I used was problem solving. I showed this skill by thinking the right option to take and what would be the best to solve different things. For example, I had to think of how we was going to get the trapped people out of the tunnel that had been filled up with water and what was the safest route to get them out. I also used motivation in this task by motivating my teammates because some of them were giving up towards the end and were losing track of the task. I showed fairness in this task by respecting each other's points and ideas. Even though I didn't agree with some of them, I still let my team members give their ideas and I showed creativity by being in the situation that a public service were in. For example, thinking of the best option that would save lives and what we could do to prevent things from happening, for example, terrorism. My planning was smart because we planned and discussed what ideas were the best and if it would work before we made our final decision. The skills that link with this are planning because we decided what would work before we put our choice forward. SMEC is also linked because we knew what our mission was and what we had to do. The skill that was used was communication by talking to each other and describe what the task was. SMEC linked because we had a planning action on each video on what idea was the best and give everyone a role. The distinction was D2. The skills I didn't demonstrate as well was communication. I just let my team members do the work and decide what they thought was the best instead of me putting some ideas in. I could improve this skill by communicating more and putting some ideas next time, and also use courage more to speak up because generally I'm a quiet person, so using my courage would boost my confidence. Also practicing with the group beforehand. This would help me communicate more because I would be more confident in the task, which means I would put more information forward. Another skill I could improve was confidence. A good way of improving confidence is getting to know my team members before we start our task. Because at first I didn't know them, so it was a bit hard to get my points across because I was afraid what my team would say. In this task I was a leader, but whilst I was leading I didn't demonstrate leadership very well because I didn't delegate my team roles for the task, and also didn't talk as much because I let my team do the work instead of me taking the lead. This could be improved by communicating more before the task to boost my confidence, which will make me talk more in the task. The second task we did was fire evacuation. In this task we needed communication, assertiveness, confidence, courage, motivation and also courage. For this task we had to evacuate people from the fire and also to get the trapped students that were inside and safe. Another skill is confidence. This was needed because I had to be confident in going into the burning building to get the students out, and also need confidence to discuss ideas with the team members to see what the best idea was. The skill needed would be communication because my team members had to discuss what idea was the best and also need to tell each other what was happening by hand gestures and also verbal communication. Another skill that I needed within this task is courage. You need courage in this task because you need to be confident and give good ideas to your team members. Also trying different things within your group, for example, different decisions to see what the best was. I also needed assertiveness in this task because you need to be honest and express your opinions on what you felt may work or not. Another skill that is needed is motivation, for example, motivating your team to be successful within the task, and also motivate them to not lose concentration and start running about. The skills I used in fire evacuation was communication. This is needed because I had to communicate with my team to discuss ideas on which option was the best to get the fire out, and also to get the students that were trapped in the building. We communicated well because we were successful. Another skill I used was problem solving. I used this skill by thinking the right option to take and what would be the best to solve different things. For example, I had to think of how we were going to get the trapped people out of the burning building. I also used motivation whilst doing this task because halfway through some of the members were starting to lose concentration. I also used fairness in this task by respecting each other's points and ideas, even though I didn't agree with some of them, because some of the ideas wouldn't have worked. I still let my team members give their ideas to them. My planning was smart because we had a plan and discussed what idea was the best and if it would work before we made our final decision on how to put the fire out and get the students out. The skills that link with this are planning because we decided what would work before we put our choice forward. SMEC is also linked because we knew what our task was and what we had to do. This skill was used by communication by talking to each other and describing what the task was. SMEC linked because we had a planning into action on each video and what idea was the best. D2, in this task I didn't demonstrate quite a few skills. For example, I didn't show communication a lot because I didn't put a lot of ideas towards the task. I could improve this skill by communicating more and putting some ideas in next time, and also by using courage to speak up a bit more. I didn't demonstrate confidence because I was a bit shy because I didn't know anyone in the group. Another skill I could improve on was confidence. A good way of improving confidence to getting to know my team members before we start our task, because at first I didn't know them, so it was a bit hard to get my points across. In this task I was a leader, but whilst I was leading I didn't demonstrate leadership very well, because I didn't delegate my team roles for the task and also didn't speak up as much. By improving this, I could communicate more, which would boost my confidence, which would make me lead better. Task 3, raft building. Skills needed were communication, creativity, trustworthy, motivation and confidence. The third task, me and my group had to build a raft build. We had to build a raft with blue barrels and long pieces of rope and also planks of wood. For this task we needed different skills such as communication. We needed communication for this task to be able to talk about how we were going to get the raft to float and also to discuss what ideas were the best. Another skill we needed was creativity. We needed this to be creative because to build out raft of a selective amount of materials and make it float. Our ideas had to be creative in order for the raft to float. We also needed to be trustworthy because we all had to get on the raft at one time so it didn't fall apart. So we had to trust each other so no one messed it up. We also needed motivation within this task because some of the team members were giving up because some of the ideas wasn't working, which means you need motivation to get the team to keep going and not give up. We needed confidence to put our ideas forward to the group from each individual. Also need confidence to get into the water with the raft. The skills that I used were communication to put my ideas forward and ask any questions about what we were doing and to communicate to the person who was running the activity, just in case we damaged any equipment. We didn't. Another skill I used was trustworthy because I made sure my team members trusted me whilst I was getting on the raft by not rocking it or making the raft fall apart. I was also motivated because our first idea didn't work but I kept on trying different things, so the raft floated better. Our planning was smart because we planned and discussed our ideas and decided what was the best for us to do. The skills that link with SMART is planning, because we made our decisions first before we made our final decision. SMEC is also linked to the task because we knew what our task was and how it was supposed to be done. SMEC is also linked because we had to plan what we had to do and give different roles to each other. The distinction in this task, I didn't demonstrate quite a few skills. For example, I didn't show communication a lot because I didn't put a lot of ideas towards the raft. I could improve this skill by communicating more next time and also practicing so I can speak up more, because generally I'm quite a person. In this task I was a leader, but whilst I was leading I didn't demonstrate good leadership because I didn't give my teammates any information about how we were building and also the roles they had been given. By improving this task beforehand, to improve leadership I could practice the task beforehand, which would make me come out of my shell more and speak up. I didn't demonstrate respect because some of the ideas that my team members put forward I didn't show any interest because I was so focused on getting the task done. I can improve this skill by making friends with the team members before we start our task, so I am more comfortable, which means I will respect their points more, and also to write down different ideas from each member before we start the task. Task 4 was foot patrol. In the foot patrol task we needed a few skills such as confident respect, creativity and determination, and also how we were going to do the task. We needed communication in this task because we needed to make sure everyone knew their roles and how we were going to do the task. Another skill needed respect. Respect each and everyone's ideas that they put forward, and also to respect our tutor because she was explaining what the task was and what we had to do. Needed determination to be up for the task and also beat the opposite team. Creativity is needed because you need to put yourself in the soldier's shoes to try and beat the opposite team and also to see what the best plan of action was. The skills I used were communication to talk to other members of the team about a plan of action and what we were going to do. We also needed communication during the task to help each other. I also used respect because I respected my team members' ideas and respected my tutor before the task. Another skill that I showed was motivation. This was shown because I was motivating my team to beat the opposite team and to win. Also was used because some of the team members were giving up halfway through. Our planning was smart because before the task we all sat down and discussed as a group how we were going to achieve and to beat the opposite team. The skills are also linked to a planning to find out the best way to do it. SMEC is also linked to this task because we knew what our mission was before the task started and how we were going to do it. The skill that was most important for this task was communication because we had to talk about different ideas and how it's going to be done. The distinction. In this task I didn't demonstrate a few skills. For example, I didn't show communication a lot because I didn't put a lot of ideas on how we're going to get round the opposite team and how to beat them. I could improve this skill by communicating more and putting some ideas in next time. This can be done by also practicing with my group before the actual task. This would help me communicate more and I would be more confident in the task, which means I will put more information forward. I didn't demonstrate confidence because I was a bit shy because I didn't really know anyone in the group at the time. Another skill I could improve was this can be improved by getting to know my teammates before we start our task, because at first I didn't know any of them because it was a bit hard to get my points across and I was afraid what they would say. Another skill I didn't demonstrate well was loyalty because I was running around by myself instead of sticking with my team. I could improve this by practicing the task a couple of times with my group so we knew what to do, because unfortunately my leader didn't explain what we were all doing and that we were staying together. So by practicing this would improve my loyalty because I would end up staying with my team more.